Welcome back to this lecture series on deep learning. In this lecture, we'll see some multiple choice questions in the topic convolution neural network. We'll see one by one. First, we'll see the multiple choice questions in convolution operation. So the first question is, what is the primary purpose of the convolution operation in CNN, that is convolution neural networks? Reduce image size, extract local features, normalize pixel values, and classify images. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is extract local features. The primary purpose of the convolution operation in CNNs are extract local features. The next question is, in a convolution layer, what slides over the input image? For example, if I am taking the input image, this size may be 4 cross 4 or 5 cross 5, anything. What slides over the input image? So we'll be taking kernel or filters for extracting the picture. 3 cross 3 filter, 2 cross 2 filter, or 5 cross 5 filters. Like that we are going to take into account. And what does a convolution operation mathematically represent? What does a convolution operation mathematically represent? Matrix inversion, dot product between kernel and input image. Suppose if I am taking the input image like this, and if I am sliding over this input image, I am going to do what operation? Vector normalization or eigen decomposition. So we are going to have the dot product between this kernel and input region. This is the correct answer. Next, increasing the kernel size mainly affect which property? Learning rate, receptive field, activation sparsity, and batch size. The answer is receptive field. Next, what happens if padding is not used in convolution? Input size increases, output size remains same, output size decreases, kernel size changes. The answer is output size decreases. Next, the multiple questions are based on sparse interactions. What does sparse interaction mean in CNN? Every neuron connects to all inputs. Neuron connect to local regions only. Neurons work independently, fully connected layers. The answer is neurons connect to local regions. The answer is B, local regions only. Next, sparse connectivity helps CNNs by increasing computation, reducing number of parameters, eliminating overfitting, removing noise. The answer is reducing number of the sparse connectivity will always be in reducing the number of parameters. Next question is, compared to fully connected layers, sparse interactions lead to more weights, fewer weights, same number of weights, and no learning is taken place. The answer is we are going to take into account fewer weights. Next, the questions are based on parameter sharing. What is parameter sharing in CNNs? Using multiple kernels, using same kernel across input locations, sharing neurons between layers, and sharing loss functions. The answer is using the same kernel across input locations. Next, parameter sharing is mainly reduces training samples, gradient noise, model parameters, or training epochs. What's the answer for this? The answer is that this parameter sharing will always be in reducing the model parameters. Next question is, which layer benefits most from parameter sharing? Fully connected layer, pooling layer, convolution layer, and output layer. Which one is the correct answer? The answer is naturally the convolution layer. Next, the questions are based on equivariance. Convolution operation is said to be equivariant to scaling, rotation, translation, or noise. What is the answer? The answer is the translation. Next question is, what does translation equivariance mean? Output is invariant. Shift in input causes proportional shift in output. Output does not change. Kernel shifts randomly. The answer is B. It shifts input causes proportional shift in output. The next question is, which operation reduces equivariance? Convolution, pooling, parameter sharing, or padding? The answer is the equivariation has been done by using pooling operation. Next question is based on the pooling. What is the main purpose of pooling layers? It increases the feature map size, reduces spatial dimensions, compute gradient, normalize inputs. Which answer is correct? The answer is B. It will always be reducing the spatial dimensions. Next question is, which pooling operation selects the maximum value? Average pooling, min pooling, sum pooling, or max pooling? The answer is naturally maximum pooling. Next one is, pooling mainly provides translation invariance, translation variance, translation invariance, higher resolution, more parameter. The answer is the pooling mainly provides translation invariance. Next, which layer usually follows a convolution layer? Loss layer, pooling layer, optimized layer, or a dropout layer? The answer is pooling layer. Next, questions are based on convolution variance. What is triggered convolution control? Kernel size, padding, step size of kernel movement, or loss function? The answer is step size of kernel movement. Next one is, increasing stride value results in higher resolution output, same output size, smaller output feature map, larger kernel. If you are going through my lectures, you will be able to answer it easily. The answer is small output feature map. Next one is, transposed convolution is mainly used for feature extraction, image downsampling, image upsampling, regularization. The answer is the transposed convolution is mainly used for image upsampling. And dilated convolution helps in reducing kernel size, increasing resorptive field, removing noise, or pooling. The correct answer is the dilated convolution helps in increasing the resorptive field. And tiled convolution differs from standard convolution by how it will be differing. No parameter sharing, shared parameter in tiles, only one cross one kernel, no padding. The answer is naturally shared parameters tiles. The bigger images are split into small tiles. After processing, we are going to join together. Which convolution variant is used to segmentation task? Straight convolution, dilated convolution, one cross one convolution, fully connected. The answer is dilated convolution. Next, questions are based on CNN learning and nonlinearity. Why are nonlinear activation functions are used? To reduce overfitting, to introduce nonlinearity, to reduce parameters, to normalize data. The answer is to introduce nonlinearity. Next, which is the most commonly used in activation function in CNN? That is sigmoid, tanh, ReLU, and softmax. The answer is naturally ReLU, rectifier linear unit. Next, ReLU activation outputs values are between 0 and 1. Negative, it only negative values, 0 for negative inputs, smooth value curves. The ReLU output naturally here this will be 0 and it will be like this. So the answer is 0 for negative inputs. Next, which activation suffers from vanishing gradient point? ReLU, leaky ReLU, sigmoid, and ELU, exponential linear unit. The answer is vanishing gradient point, sigmoidal function. Next, the questions are based on loss function. Loss functions measure feature extraction, prediction error, learning rate, accuracy directly. The answer is it will be used to predict the error. Next one is, which loss is commonly used for multi-class classification? Mean square error, Hinch loss, cross entropy loss, L1 loss. The answer is cross entropy loss. Next, mean squared error is mainly used for regression, classification, clustering, segmentation. What is the correct answer? The answer is mean squared error means we have to remember regression. And the questions are based on regularization. Regularization helps in what? Speeding training only, preventing overfitting, increasing model size, removing gradient. In the previous lecture only we have seen it will be used to prevent the overfitting, the regularization. Next, L2 regularization penalizes absolute weights, squared weights, gradients, bias terms only. The answer is it will be penalizes squared weights. Next, which regularization randomly deactivate neurons? Batch normalization, dropout, weight decay, and early stopping. The answer is regularization that deactivates the dropouts. Data augmentation acts as optimizer, regularizer, loss function, and activation. The answer is data augmentation acts as the regularizer. And the answer questions are based on optimizers. Optimizers are used to define network structure, update weights, normalize input, compute accuracy. The answer is will be used to update the weights. Next, which optimizer uses momentum and adaptive learning? SG, standard gradient, SGD, RMS probe, Adam, Adagrad. What is the answer? Adam. Adam is used to use the momentum layer. Next, SGD updates weights using entire dataset, mini batches, only test data, validation test. This I have told you while we are discussing the topic. Next one is learning rate controls number of layers, step size, weight update, kernel size, batch size. We know that the learning rate control the step size of the weight. Next, the questions are based on gradient computation. Gradient represents weight values, error magnitude, direction of error change, and accuracy. The answer is direction of error change. Gradient computation in CNN is done using forward propagation, pooling, back propagation, initialization. The answer is answer is back propagation, not this. Answer is back propagation. Gradient computation, usually back propagation only. Back propagation uses which mathematical rule? Bayes theorem, chain rule, Taylor series, for Fourier transform. So it uses the chain rule. These and all we have seen it in our previous lectures. Next, vanishing gradients or causes very large updates, no learning in deep layer, overfitting, fast convergence. So here no learning in deep layers. Next, exploiting gradients cause stable training, zero gradient, extremely large weights reduces the loss. The answer is the gradient causes because of extremely large weight updates. Next, which technique helps stabilizes the gradients? Pooling, batch normalization, padding, and flattening. The answer is the stabilization is being done by using batch normalization. Gradient in convolution layer are shared because pooling, parameter, dropout, and nonlinearity. The answer is parameter sharing. Next question is which layer has the maximum number of parameter in CNN? Pooling, convolution, fully connected, and input. You know that fully connected network. Next, gradient descent aims to maximize loss, minimize loss, normalize gradient, stop training. The answer is minimize loss. Next, which optimizer adopts learning rate per parameter? SGD, Adam, RMS Pro, both B and C. The answer is both B and C. This also we have seen it on our lecture. Effective CNN learning requires proper combination of kernel and output, pixels, activation and pooling, regularization, optimizer, and gradient computation, padding and stride. The answer is the effective learning proper combination of regularization. We know that the last video we have seen optimizer, gradient computation. So hope everyone understood about all the MCQs. The remaining things we'll discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.